Her video just changed a lot of people's lives. And I'm not just saying that. Look at these comments, and you can scroll and scroll. But some people are having a harder time with it. I was one of those people. I've got the link you're looking for. But first, the seed.
Do you know that if you're trying to love yourself, you already do? If you are trying to love yourself, you already do.
For some people, what she said in the video was enough. But for some people, it bounces off their shadow just because it sounds fake. But if you give me a chance right now, and the scene that did it for me, I don't even think was intending to do it. Wait, please, don't run. I know this movie isn't critically acclaimed, but I loved it. God damn, I loved it. And so I've been learning that stuff, but it hadn't really clicked for me. But then one day I had the movie on like I normally did, and this scene pops up. Stick with me, I promise this tracks. I just need to give you a little bit of context. In this scene, Tony's basically on house arrest, and he's been tasked with basically making a new element. But one of the resources that S.H.I.E.L.D. gave to him to aid in his work is a recording his dad made decades before. So at first, Tony has it on, and he's barely even paying attention. And at one point, Tony himself comes into the room, of course, as a child at this point in time. And Tony's always known his dad as like this stoic, no-nonsense kind of guy. And in the video, he even calls to help. He's like, can somebody get him out of here? But then he changes. Something flips, and he just goes, Tony, you're too young to understand this right now, so I thought I'd put it on film for you. I built this for you. This represents my life's work. I'm limited by the technology of my time, but I know one day you'll figure this out. And when you do, you will change the world. What is and always will be my greatest creation is you. Which obviously came as a surprise to Tony. Because in his own words, he never even thought his dad liked him. Now lock in, here's how this connects. You see how in the beginning Howard treats Tony almost as a nuisance, which led Tony to believe that he wasn't loved. But it's more nuanced than that. Love goes deeper than words. Just like how I and probably you, seeing yourself do things has seemingly to you meant I don't love myself. It can make us think that the answer is to get rid of that past version, judge them. Just like with Howard, your past self's entire life's work is dedicated to you. Their mistakes, their pain, their suffering, all became lessons so you could evolve. While the first step is acknowledging that they're mistakes, it doesn't end here. The next level is to take those mistakes and acknowledge them for what they are, gold, and analyze them with gratitude to engineer better outcomes. Right now, you might be limited by the feelings or the circumstances of your time. You can just trust that future you will have access to more resources, more pieces to this puzzle. You can actually send gifts to yourself from the past, and then one day you just love yourself. It's not optional. It's circumstantial. It's a fact. All those mistakes, all those failures, all those lapses in judgment aren't there to convict you. They're guiding you to greater outcomes. But you have to be willing to sit down and really look at what the past is trying to tell you, which isn't fun or easy. I'm not saying that it is. But if you can, all that suffering can be synthesized and transmuted into personal transformation. Real quick, could you think of somebody you love, someone you care for deeply? Whoever came to mind first is usually the best. Now think about a happy moment with them. You really care about them, don't you? You really want the best for them. Feel that feeling in your chest that you have for them right now? Well, I just swapped your bodies with them, and you can't go back for an entire calendar year. Now remember that love you just felt. Let's say you find out they've been trying to quit drinking, but they hated themselves because they already failed twice, so they didn't want to try again. Remember that love. Do you hate them for that too? Or are you willing to try again? Mine was my little brother, and if you're anything like me, I'm giving that body back on a 300-day streak. Even if I failed, I don't care. I'm just going to try again, because I love him and he deserves that. Every time I looked in the mirror and saw him, I'd see somebody I love. Let me ask you, would you pick that person apart? Or maybe you would go after their goals because it's something they want. Full stop. Rather than whipping them like a horse to their goals. A common misconception is that loving yourself is bad because you'll no longer want to grow or change. And you hate where you are now, so you better not love yourself. But it's fundamentally flawed because that's never how love has worked. When a parent loves their kid, do they want them to stay the same way forever? Or do they love them at each of their stages, equally celebrating when they first eat solid food and when they graduate from college? Nope, love is perpetual growth, change, and acceptance at every stage, even if you're just finding out about it now. You've loved yourself for longer than you think. Now open your heart to the world as you have to them, and you'll find every reason to keep living in it.